I select my line, I start from here, I go straight. You can see that when I move my mouse for the end of the line, you can see that it shows the length of my line and also the angles. So you can see there's a 0.21 and also 180 degrees. So when I move the mouse up and down, you see that I can change the angle or the definition of my line. But I want to have the straight line, so I just click here, I just go straight up, just go straight inside, then I go up again. And so when I move the pencil, you can see it give me that the hint that the blue dotted line shows I'm in the exactly same location of my origin. So I click here and then I go straight down to close my profile. When I close my profile, you can notice that the inside of my object become highlighted. It means that I have a closed profile. I click OK. And also you can see that the software created automatically the relation of these lines. So I have a horizontal line in the top and I have a vertical line here. For example, if I want to have this line in the angle, first I need to click on this vertical line and delete this restraint that the software created, and then I create the angle here. If I don't delete this one and I keep this one here, I cannot add the angle for this line and make it like the less than the 90 or more than the 90 degrees. Okay, now I go and put the dimensions that I find inside the PDF file at my drawing. So it was 425, then this one was 175. Okay, so now you can see here when I add this dimension here, because it was less than the thickness that I created here, I had it messed with my the original drawing, my lines, and it moved the second line downward. So I have some kind of the mismatch between the lines that I created. So I just undo this part, so Control Z, and I come back to this line later. So I first put the dimension for this line to make sure that it stay in the upward direction. So it's 0.75. Now, if I double click on this line, I can edit this dimension, making 1.75, and now you can see that it didn't move this line downward, because I said that I want to this line be at this certain dimension. Then when I change this the new line that I had here, software automatically changed the height of the remaining line, that is the blue line here. So as you can notice that before, because I didn't define this line, it kept the distance that I created for this line constant and changed the value of the line at the end to cache this 175 for the final line that I created here. So this is the some of the features that the software you need to tell the software the steps that you want to go, because if you don't define that, the software automatically change some of these dimensions that maybe is not the product that you were looking for. Okay, so now here I define all of the lines. The last line that I need to define is the thickness of my L shape in this part, and this thickness I select on the smart dimensions, and this thickness should be 1 inch. So now I created the base of my profile. So this is the L shape that I created here. I go out, then I select go to the feature, select the extrude. Now for the extrude, let me change the direction to the other side. For the extrude, I go, so I created this L shape, and then I want to extrude for the value that is the thickness of this final product. So it's a 225. So I put 225, and this is the base of my product. So this is the base that I created. This is the L shape. Now I start to cutting this um, end part and then these two circles. So I select the top face, go to the sketch, create a new sketch, make it normal. Now I need to create the center line. To create the center line, the first thing is that I need to find this location of my arc. So if you go back to your sketch, you can see I need to define this location of this center that is the center of all of my arcs. So the big arc and two other circle, and it is half of this thickness. So I have the radius of the diameter of this cut at the edge is equal to the thickness of my extrude is at 225, and from this point that is my center to the edge is the radius that I need. So this point is at 225, half of the 225. So I select the line, and then I create the one straight line. I make it for the construction. Click here, I make it for the construction. Then I put the distance from the edge, and I make it 225 divided by 2. So this is the one location. And the next thing is that I need to find the center of my circle. I need to create another part that pass through the center line of my other lines. So the next line that I created passed through the center line. So you can see that when I move my mouse through the edge of this line, it shows me the center line. Then I a little move my mouse inward. You can see the blue dotted line. Then I click here and I create my other line. So now I know that this line is passing through the center line. So I just click here for construction and click OK. Okay, now I can create my arc. So I think I need to increase the length of this line. So the center of my circle sit down at the cross section of these two lines that I created. So I just pass through the okay, so it's a start from one edge and goes through the other edge. One edge, two. Okay. So now you can see that I created the profile, but I cannot cut this shape because it's open profile right now. The next thing is that I just close this profile and I go from this point. So when I contact this point, you can see that you can see a yellow double circle. It shows that I'm in contact. I go straight to the edge of my profile, or because this one is cut, I go a little higher to make sure that I cut all of the material from the edge. So I just let these two section point, and I just a little move the profile to the outward. So now this is the profile that I created to sketch 2. Then I go to the feature and I extrude cut this part. Okay, so you can see that there's a small edge here. It because the profile that I created is a little inside. So this profile that I created at the edge is a little inside. You can see here. So the only thing is that you can get and expand this line a little to the outward. So you need to delete this line and create this type of the shape. Just go a little outward. Okay, now you can see that I eliminate those extra part there. Next thing is that I need to create those two circle. So I create another profile here. So just make it normal. I select the top plane. I select it normal. Then I have two circle. One of them is the 1 inch, the other one with the diameter of the 0.45, and both of them are the same. They have a same center line that is the same with the other one. So I create first the small cut, and then I create the big cut. So this is two different commands. So I just coming here. So you can see that to find the center line, I just move the pencil and contact it to the edge and move it inward. And then you can see that the software show me the center line of the big cut. So I just created some circle and I create the small circle first. So 0.45. Then I go out, I create my cut. Then I select the top plane again, make it normal, and now I create the bigger circle. I select the dimension, and I put the dimension as a 1 inch. Okay. Now I need to find out what is the thickness of this cut. To do that, you go back to your drawing, and here you need to find the thickness of the so it doesn't show what is the thickness. Usually you need to have the cut here to show you the thickness of this depth. So it doesn't show, but from this view is the 1/3 of the 0.75. So that's the one missing information that you have in this drawing. So you need to make sure that when you create your sketch in the future, you need to make sure that you put all of the dimensions that you need. So here I put 0.75 divided by 3. Okay, so now I created our what is called the two cut that we have. Now let's at the end let's go and cut the final cut. That this is our final cut. So if I make it bigger, so I create this profile. So I start from the edge, go inside, then come out down, then I put the these dimensions at the end to come up with the profile and then cut through the shape. So here I select this line, this surface or this face. I click on the new sketch, make it normal. Then I select the line, and from the top I just go inside, goes down. Okay, so and the angle goes down, this goes up and goes to the edge. Okay, so this is the profile that I created. Then I put the dimensions that I have. So is the depth and the width of 0.25. So first let's define this line. So it should be 1, 3. This line 0.25. Then this line should be 0.25 and 45 degree. So this one 0.25 again. Define this one as a 25. Okay, so first you can see that when I put this dimension, it changed the shape of my profile because I didn't define this line here. So the software automatically changed because I didn't define put the restraint on the other edge. It changed the dimension of my line. So I put the Control Z, and before I do that, I just put the dimension here, make sure that I define this line. So when I come here, double click on this and change it to 0.25, you can see that my original shape here stayed the same. So I define each line. Right now, automatically, these two lines should be at 45 degree because I define all of the other lines. You can check that with clicking on this line and this top one. You can see that it's on the 45 degree. And now I have the black line here. The next thing is that I created this profile, but this profile is not closed. So the next thing is that I need to make sure that I close my profile. So either I can just create another line here to just make sure. Now you can see that when I close my profile, I get highlighted shape for inside of my boundaries between these lines. Okay, so now I created my profile, and then I can cut it. So instead of going from to the edge and go up, I can easily contact these 2 points to get my cut. So it's the same result. So if I click on this and I put the 1 inch, then now you can see that I get my final product same as you can see here. Okay. Just to show you that you can achieve the same product with a different profile, I changed the profile of my final sketch. So here you can see that if I delete this one, so instead of having the full profile to the edge, I can just delete these parts, these 2 extra line, and I just contact the 2 edge of my parts here. Then I need to remove these 2 lines that I created too. Yes, I want to delete the dimension too. Yes. Okay. Now I have my closed profile again. Okay, so I first I need to delete this cut and then come back and edit my profile. Okay, now I have my closed profile. Then I can select this sketch, and I cut it, then I get the same result again. So the cut, because it's removed the material from the base and I don't have any extra material here, it doesn't matter that what was the profile in the top. So either you have the material, the profile for your cut outside of your shape or not, it doesn't make any change because you don't have any material here to cut. So this is the final product that you created with the simple extrude and the different cut